All right, so tonight at 7:15, and we are up at 6 Eastern Time here on the No Spin News, and you can watch it if you're premium members on BillO'Reilly.com any way you want. On the radio with more than 100 stations, again, the radio sets the time when the No Spin News runs. But anyway, Biden is going to deliver remarks at the 10th Annual National Vigil for all victims of gun violence. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful to any victim of violent crime. I mean, the last thing on earth I would want to do. But this is a charade. This whole thing is if you understand the dynamic of what's really happening here, it has nothing to do with preventing victims of gun violence. If Joe Biden wanted to do that, he would get behind a movement to federalize all gun crimes. So if you have a gun, all right, and you do anything, and the gun is illegal in your possession, you don't have a right to carry, okay, or even have it, you went to federal court, and you're harshly punished. That would make it so much easier for authorities from Anchorage, Alaska to Key West to crack down on the thugs who are committing all of the murders. Now, you will never hear tonight the most salient fact in this gun debate. You will never hear it. And I will say it to you again, and you should write it down. According to the Gun Violence Project, which studies every shooting, last year, all right, 2021, there were 690 mass shootings in America. Mass shootings of 4 or more people hit by gunfire. 690. How many lone gunmen? 7. 7. So the Ubaldes, the Buffaloes, the Colorado Springs, horrible. Press goes wild. But every single day, drug gangs, heavily armed, inner cities, shooting people down, you don't hear a word about it. And you won't hear a word about it tonight from Biden, because he will not acknowledge the real problem, and either will this organization, the Vigil for All Victims of Gun Violence. They will not acknowledge what is happening, why people are dying from gunfire. And that is the truth. So then the next question becomes, why will they not acknowledge it? There are 2 reasons. Most gun crimes in this country are committed by African Americans. It's staggering. The stats are staggering. And so are the victims, heavily African American. Don't want to report that. But the second more important reason is the progressive left, including Joe Biden, wants to ban all guns. They don't want you to have any guns so you can protect yourself. They don't believe in self-protection. Best example, Nancy Pelosi's husband. Nancy Pelosi's husband has a gun in the San Francisco house. That guy who broke in may not have walked out. Well, I don't know about his personality, Pelosi's personality, but if it were my house, the guy would not have walked out. That is called self-protection. And every American has the right to self-protection because of the Second Amendment, which is never going to be repealed. It's never going to be adjusted. It's there in stone because the founding fathers of this country understood the federal and local governments could not protect individual Americans. And rather than leave them helpless, like British subjects were, and are today, most of them, they're helpless in Great Britain and Ireland and Wales and Scotland. When he comes at them with a gun, that's over. Because that government there, all right, banned the guns, made it almost impossible for anybody to have them, unless you have a shotgun for hunting. So when the revolution was over and we got our freedom from Great Britain, founding fathers said, we're not going to do this. We're going to give the American population the power to defend themselves against all kinds of threats. Okay, lawlessness, overreaching government in the sense of a coup d'etat, All right, Native American tribes coming at you, big bears in the woods, bandits everywhere in the Old West. And it just makes, I'm a historian slash journalist, and if you see the pattern of thought and behavior, there's no question that the Founding Fathers wanted Americans to be able to defend themselves because they knew that the government couldn't do it. You live in Montana, Wyoming, any rural state, the sheriff's not going to be able to protect you from harm. You live in New York City, the NYPD, all 35,000 of them, are not going to be able to protect you. The guy walks down the street, he's got a gun, bang! Break into your home, your apartment. In the Bronx, when you walk around, there's bars on all the apartments. Steel bars. So people can't break in. I mean, this is insane. So Biden, he doesn't care. I shouldn't say that. That's wrong of me to say he doesn't care about the gun violence victims. But if he did really care, he'd identify the real problem, criminality, armed criminals, okay? And stop with this, you know, phony, oh, we're going to ban the guns. And look, high-powered rifle, yeah, you got to have a special license. I'm in charge. You want an AK or an AR or any of that, you got to get a special license for that. You got to get trained. You got to have a clean record. You got to wait a month or so before you get it so the background checks can be run. You have to fill out an application. We have to know what kind of high-powered weaponry we have. Now, the NRA, they hate that. They go, all right, we're not going to do that. And that's them. That's not me. I want to solve the problem. So you want a big, heavy weapon, all right, you got to give us a reason. You can't deny you, but there are steps that you're going to have to take, including massive training, so that the authorities know who's got the heavy weapons. Doesn't it just make sense? Well, they'll come and get us if they know. Come on, you know, public safety is public safety. Handguns, every American should be entitled to have a handgun and carry. All right, get a license to do so. They got to get a license. But they don't have to go through hoops. It's too dangerous. Country's too dangerous. Flat out too dangerous. And nobody's doing anything about the criminality. You know that. How many times do we have to report it? So that's what Biden's doing tonight. And I mean, it just drives me nuts because I know what this is. And now you do too.